Am I the a-hole for how I reacted to my ex's pregnancy announcement? Ex-wife and I met when she was 20 and I was 22. She got pregnant a year later, and we got married when our firstborn was 1.5 years old. When our third and last child was 3 years old, she met a married dad in some parent group and told me she had outgrown me. So she kicked me out. She said it was easier, since the kids were too young, for her to stay. She was, and still is, a stay-at-home mom, and for me to leave. I was a mess. I found a place near her so I could be close to the kids. I started working out, reading lots of books. Anyway, I'm in a better place now. She and that married dad broke up. We are co-parenting well. I pay alimony and child support since I'm the one with an income. So for clarity, we got married when my oldest was 1.5 years old. I proposed to her when she told me she was pregnant. She left me when our third kid was 3. We were married for 8 years, and we haven't been together for the last 7 years. Now here's where I might be the jerk. She told me the other day that she is struggling financially and asked me to increase my monthly payment. Then she said, "I'm pregnant, and I'd really appreciate your help." I told her I had no idea she was seeing someone. She said, "It's sort of new. We've only had a couple of dates." Then she continued asking for increased support. I told her that if she can't afford the baby and the father isn't helping, maybe keeping the baby isn't a great idea. She started yelling and crying. She said she trusted me enough to tell me before she told the baby's father. She said she's not going to murder our children's half-sibling and that I should be more supportive since this will be our kid's sibling and my stepchild. I apologized, and then she told me to GTFO. Well, I did, but now I feel guilty. I know not legally, but do I morally have to help her temporarily until she figures out what to do? Now for the top comments. I'd understand paying alimony after the divorce, but once she remarries or cohabitates with someone else, you legally wouldn't have to pay alimony anymore, since she's no longer your responsibility. Child support? Yes, but alimony? No. Then also, she's in another relationship and pregnant with a child that isn't yours. You're not responsible for it. And no judge would increase your payments to support a child you didn't father and have no ties to. You need to seek legal counsel and maybe even push for full custody. If she's continuing to have children and is struggling to take care of them while they're in her care, that means she's incapable of providing them with basic necessities and a stable life. She never remarried or lived with anyone. She had boyfriends, but that's it. In Canada, infidelity doesn't make any difference in alimony or child support. I will talk to a lawyer about how much longer I have to pay alimony. Okay. You should definitely seek legal counsel because she's trying to milk you for all you're worth. Why won't she get a job? That would be way more important and beneficial for her and the kids' stability. She says working gives her anxiety, so she doesn't want to work. Honestly, I can't make decisions for her or force her. It's her life. No, you should not give her more money than deemed legally required by the courts because she got knocked up by some rando and is struggling. Your obligation is only to your kids. She sounds irresponsible and like a mooch. Not the a-hole, and that is not your step-kid. They would be if y'all got back together. Your money is to be utilized to take care of your children, not to fund her laziness and careless mistakes. I don't even understand how women like this even get dates. Hi, I'm an unemployed single mom who left my marriage to hook up with a married man from the park and then got knocked up by a rando. But it's okay, because it's my ex-husband's stepchild, so he'll step up and give me every cent to his name. And all of his hopes and dreams will die while I play an irresponsible, helpless woman who needs big men to rescue me. Freaking hell. Lying, that's how. Lying through her teeth and lying in another man's bed, and now her future is lying in ruins. Next story. Would I be the a-hole if I keep my ex's life insurance payout instead of giving it to his pregnant girlfriend? My ex and I were together for 7 years, and we got engaged 2 years ago. Around that time, we both took out life insurance policies, listing each other as beneficiaries. It made sense at the time because we were planning a future together. Then 6 months before the wedding, he cheated on me. I was devastated, but I forgave him because I didn't want to throw away 7 years of my life. I thought we could move past it. But 2 months before the wedding, he blindsided me. He left me for the same woman he had cheated with. I was completely heartbroken. I begged him to reconsider, but he told me he had moved on and that I should too. It took me a long time to heal, but I eventually accepted that he had made his choice. Over time, I worked on rebuilding my life. That was a year ago. I updated my own life insurance policy, assuming he would do the same. Then, last week, I got the unexpected news that he had passed away suddenly. It was shocking, but what surprised me even more was getting a call from his sister. Apparently, he never changed his beneficiary, which means I am set to receive over $100,000 payout. Now his girlfriend, the woman he left me for, has reached out, asking me to give her the money. She's pregnant with his child and currently unemployed. She says the money should go to her and the baby because I am just his ex. I understand that this is a difficult situation and I have sympathy for her child, but at the end of the day, this was his responsibility. He had an entire year to update his policy, and he didn't. I wasn't expecting this money, but legally, it is mine. I didn't take anything from anyone. It was his choice to leave things as they were. I don't think I should be obligated to give it up, especially considering how he treated me. This isn't about revenge or pettiness. It's simply about the fact that I was the named beneficiary, and I see no reason why I should be the one to fix a mistake that he made. That being said, I don't want to be heartless. I'm considering setting aside a small amount for the baby because none of this is the child's fault. But at the same time, I don't think I should feel guilty for keeping what was legally left to me. Am I the a-hole? Keep it, but be prepared for the baby mama to try and sue you for it. I'm not a lawyer, but I think you've got solid ground for keeping it. Yeah, I'm hoping it doesn't come to that, but I'll be ready just in case. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure insurance policy beneficiaries are almost airtight. There have been many stories in which ex-wives of 20 years get the payout because it was never updated and the court upholds it. I don't think she would have a chance. My father worked in life insurance. Insurance beneficiaries supersede everything. Wills, POA everything. And failure to change is not grounds to sue. Most lawyers won't touch it. You better not give her a penny, especially if she knew about you when they got together initially. You have no idea what she'll do with that money if you give it to her. I would if you really feel led to give the money to the kid. Hold on to however much you want to give until they are ready for college. Or graduate high school and give it to them then. She does not deserve anything. Additionally, if she really has his child and is in the US, she can apply for survivor benefits for the child. Not the a-hole. Take a nice vacation. Thank you. I really appreciate this perspective. I definitely don't want to be unfair, but you're right. It was left to me for a reason. If I do decide to help the child in some way, I'd want to make sure it actually benefits them in the long run. Before doing anything, you should discuss it with a tax advisor. It's my understanding that a life insurance payout to you is not taxed. If you then give the money to someone else, there may be gift taxes or other taxes applied. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to help my dad's pregnant wife and telling him if I visit her, I will confront her about all the crap she's done? I, 18 female, live with my mom and I'm a senior in high school. My parents and my dad's wife are a messy situation. My dad dated his wife in high school. I think they started going out when they were 15 and things ended when they were 17 because my dad liked my mom. My parents got together in senior year and stayed together throughout college. I was born right after their college graduations and they broke up when I was 2. After they broke up, my dad and his wife reconnected and hooked up a few times. But then my parents got back together for like 4 months. My mom ended things with my dad for good because they didn't work as a couple and because she found out my dad had been hooking up with his wife literally the same day they got back together. My mom wanted no part of that. But who does my dad's wife blame for my parents' relationship? My mom. My dad's wife has hated my mom for as long as I can remember. I was maybe 4 when she and my dad got married, so I don't remember life before her. But I disliked her for most of that time. I can't speak for 4 and 5-year-old me. But that POS my dad's married to, and he's a POS too, wished for my mom to die. My mom had cancer when I was 9, and my dad's wife wished for it to unalive her so they could have me and she wouldn't have to deal with the ex anymore. But my mom survived, and I know that haunts her. I heard her wish death on my mom 5 different times. Twice she said it to my face when I told her I hated her. The other 3 times she was talking to her family or friends, and I listened. My dad's wife blamed my mom for her miscarrying too, and for having a stillbirth. She said my mom took my dad away from her for so long that she was too old by the time they were trying to have kids. There were a few times my dad at least tried to be a better dad than he was and would tell his wife to stop dragging me into stuff or telling me bad things about my mom. He fought her because she agreed to take me to see my mom in the hospital one time and she didn't. But honestly, mostly he made things worse or he didn't care. He'd ask me to not hold his wife's grudge against her and that it's just insecurity and jealousy on her part. My dad's wife even tried to demand a DNA test be carried out on me because my mom was nothing but a whore and I was clearly not my dad's kid. She tried to spread that rumor around, so my mom told my dad to do the test, and it proved I was his. My mom tried to win custody of me a few times. There was always some BS from the judge about needing my dad and stuff, or how I was too young to decide, or that the situation wasn't toxic enough. I was 17 before a brand new judge, we'd had a few, said I was old enough to decide I didn't want to be at my dad's anymore. So that's the choice I made. I haven't gone to my dad's house once since that decision was reached. Now my dad's wife is pregnant, and her pregnancy is high risk and all sorts of stuff. I don't know all the details. She had a surgery and some time in the hospital to help keep her pregnant. Her family stayed for a while, but now they're gone and my dad wanted me to help. He said she needs people checking in on her and stuff, and I refused. He pressed it until I stopped responding. Then he told me after a while of me ignoring his request that it would be just like a visit and I didn't need to do any heavy lifting. So I told him if I visited her, I would confront her about all her BS in the past, and I asked if he wanted that stress on her now, or the stress of how repulsive I find her. Dad told me it would be an evil thing for me to do. I told him it was the only reason I'd ever want to see her. He got mad about it, and I went back to ignoring him. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. It's your father's own fault, to be honest. He never shut down to talk about your mom, so now he lives with the consequences of you hating his wife. Honestly, this woman sounds like a maniac. Who tells a child they hope their mother dies? That alone would have caused me, as a man, to divorce her for saying that to my child. 100%. My dad should never have let this get so bad. But he couldn't have my mom, so he went to his wife. She knows it deep down too, and instead of dumping him and finding someone who wants just her, she blames my mom instead. That kind of misplaced anger and blame shows you're not the most rational or mature. You are 18 now and don't even have to speak to that POS sperm donor. Tell him to stop the BS, or you will cut him off completely, not the a-hole. I know, and I'm weighing how much contact I want with him at all, if any. I have a therapist helping me decide. Why not a trial test run of going no contact? A couple of years ago, my parents had a falling out with my dad's family. We cut ties with them, but obviously dad misses them, so every now and then he does reach out, but never to the extent it used to be. It's worked out well for us. I don't care about the crap they put us through anymore, but I also don't miss them. I don't see them as family anymore, especially since they never reached out to me or my siblings. That's an idea, and something I'll mention to my therapist next session. Last story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to give my parents access to my savings? I, 28 female, have been financially independent since I was 18. I worked through college, took on side gigs, and budgeted aggressively to build my savings. I didn't grow up with much. My parents always struggled with money, and I saw firsthand how stressful financial instability was. That's why I was so determined to create a safety net for myself. Recently, my parents found out that I have a significant amount saved. I didn't tell them directly. My younger sister let it slip in conversation. The moment they heard, it was like a switch flipped. Suddenly, they started making comments about how families should support each other and how they sacrificed so much to raise me. Then they got more direct, asking for money to pay off their debts and help with their mortgage. I love my parents, but they've never been great with money. They've always lived paycheck to paycheck, spending beyond their means and making impulsive financial decisions. They've taken out loans they couldn't afford, co-signed for family members who never paid them back, and spent money on luxuries while struggling to cover basics. I knew that if I gave them anything, it wouldn't be a one-time thing. It would open the door to them relying on me permanently. I told them no. I explained that I worked hard to build my savings and wasn't in a position to just hand over large amounts of money. They weren't happy. My mom started crying, saying she never thought her daughter would turn her back on family. My dad got angry, saying if I had enough to save, I had enough to share. They even suggested that if I didn't want to donate the money, I could at least give them a loan, though they had no actual plan to pay it back. When I still refused, things got worse. They started calling me selfish and ungrateful, reminding me of everything they did for me growing up. My sister has taken their side, saying I have more than enough and should help the people who raised me. Even extended family has chimed in, acting like I'm hoarding wealth while my parents struggle. But no one seems to acknowledge that I got here by being responsible while they made bad choices. Now I feel stuck. I don't want to ruin my relationship with my family, but I also don't want to be treated like a walking bank account. Am I really the bad guy for wanting to keep what I worked so hard for? Or did I just finally see the truth that to my family, my value is only measured by what I can provide? Am I the a-hole for choosing financial security over being treated like a personal ATM? Not the a-hole, at all. Your parents and sister are terrible. Go low contact with them, as you're now only seen as an ATM and it will not get better. Not the a-hole. Hopefully lesson learned to not ever share your financial information with anyone. Also, the guilt-tripping of them providing for you as a child and early teenager is weak. That's what parents are supposed to do. You didn't ask to be born. Tell them they stressed you out so much that you blew all your savings at the casino so nobody can have it. Lol. Just a suggestion. For real, I absolutely abhor hearing about parents who throw in their children's faces the costs of raising them. That is the job of a parent. The things your parents did for you is what should be done. There are no accolades and access to cash because you brought someone into the world. No, you don't owe your savings to your parents. They are adults and need to figure it out without using their child as an ATM. You will never see the money again and you'd be putting your financial future in jeopardy. No is an answer, not the a-hole. I would bury myself in the backyard before I ever asked my son for money. I only ever ask him, "Are you okay? Do you have what you need to stay out of debt?" He's doing great, and I shouldn't worry. But I am a mother. It's what we do. What we don't do is ask our kids for money. At least most good parents don't.